I want to backtrack a bit, and we discussed how you were in Europe sort of rehabilitating his image.
Yes.
And you mentioned the 1996 Olympics as a turning point. So I'd
Yes.
love to talk about that. So a lot of people will remember what happened and how he was the last member of the torch relay and lit the Olympic Cauldron, which is a massive honor for anyone to do. How did that come about, and how are you involved in that?
In 1992, I went to Lucerne, Switzerland, where the the Olympic headquarters are, and I was lobbying for Muhammad to get a replica gold medal.
Oh, okay.
That's how this started. So
Because
his medal went missing.
Right.
Whatever the story is, the medal went missing.
the winner of the light heavyweight division in the 1960 Summer Olympics in
Correct.
Rome, Italy.
Yes. And fortunately, we have a lot of great items in our auction that are available for people. But yes, 1960 light heavyweight. So the medal went missing, and I wanted to get him a medal. So I started with that, lobbying for that. And then I went to Berrien Springs, Michigan. Muhammad was very overweight. He had a mustache. Wasn't in the best of health. And I took a walk for him around the lake on his 100 acres that he owned. And I said, you're going to light the torch at the Olympics. And he's like, I'm too fat, I'm too old, I don't think so. I said, you're going to light the torch. And I started a campaign where I took covers, magazine covers, from all over the world that Muhammad had been on. And I ripped off the covers. And I started sending them to all the Olympic organizing committee.
Wow.
I said, this is why he needs to light the torch. Muhammad had a connection to Atlanta. It's where he was allowed to make his comeback fight against Jerry Quarry. Andrew Young, who was involved with the Olympic Committee in 1996, at that point was the governor, I believe, in Atlanta. Coca-Cola had made a deal with Evander Holyfield. It wasn't a great deal. It wasn't working out. Everybody thought that Holyfield was going to be the one because he was from Atlanta.
He was from Atlanta, yeah.
And he was going to light the torch. But the committee had other plans. And I was very instrumental in that happening, along with Howard Bingham, who was Muhammad's dearest friend, confidant, photographer, partner in crime. And Howard did a lot of maneuvering behind the scenes to make it happen.
So then how did the final decision come about, and how was the news delivered, and then what happened to get him to Atlanta and that whole process?
So I didn't know that he was chosen to light the torch
Until you saw it on television?
No, until a day before. And the only reason why I was notified was because I had lined up Muhammad for several appearances.
Right.
And I had to tell people that he got sick and would not be attending their corporate events, which did not sit well with people.
Yeah.
So yes, so that's how all that went down. Was that Howard? It was a whole undercover big operation to get Muhammad into Atlanta and to keep him hidden and to do the rehearsals. The reason why Muhammad was up there shaking and people were very moved that he was shaking quite a bit was the cauldron did not light.
Okay.
There was a malfunction. So Muhammad was holding the torch longer than he should have been. So you saw this shaking that was longer, more prominent because it took longer. And then afterwards, after the ceremony, several hours later, I went up to Muhammad's room, and Bill Clinton was there with Muhammad, and I had to go through like
25 levels of security.
25 levels of security just to get into the hotel,
Right.
let alone.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. And President Clinton was joking with Howard and Mohammed, and they were in the other room, and I was waiting for Mohammed. So, yeah, pretty big. Well, probably from a career standpoint, one of the great moments in my career to be part of that.
I'm sure it must have been spectacular. So that was then the impression of him and the sort of cultural view on him.
Yes.
There was a polarizing shift after that.
Everything changed.
Everything changed.
Everything changed. Business-wise, how they viewed him, everything changed. And
People softened on their stance towards him.
I think they softened. They also felt bad when they saw him shaking, and
Right.
they weren't sure. Like, okay,
Well, he hadn't been really in public in the States.
not like that, right?
Yeah.
Not on that stage. He had not been. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There wasn't any sort of, he didn't have a gig as a boxing commentator, or
Correct.
he wasn't doing commercials or anything like
Correct.
that, where he was seen a lot.
That is correct.